Okay, hi you guys. Never done like a solo live before. I did my first live earlier this week with Simply Sam Organized. So I'm super excited because my friend asked me a question yesterday, and it's a question and a topic that I am embarrassed about how passionate I am about it. I'm talking about it constantly with my organizers. I'm answering DMs all the time, and it's about airtight storage solutions, and I mostly use OXOs for airtight storage. So I'm going to give you some other options besides OXOs, but in general, OXOs are what I tend to use for airtight storage. And so I'm going to just give you the lowdown on why I like to use them and why other options are still fine, what the difference is between Costco and container store OXOs, because they, even though the same company makes them, they look different and they will work differently for you, and how to understand the sizes. Okay, so I'm going to start with the difference between Costco and container store. So these are the container store OXOs. The main difference is their lid is a little bit thinner. So this is an OXO one, or a Costco one. The Costco lid is a lot fatter, and the container store one is thinner. So that's how you can see a visual difference. And that's why if you were to buy a Costco set because they're cheaper and then supplement with container store OXOs, if this doesn't bother you, then that might be a good way to go. When I can avoid it, I like to keep the product consistent. So I like to use all Costco or all container store, just because that kind of bothers me that the lids are a little bit different. They're already so expensive, I'd rather have it look perfect. But there are times when there are like even earlier OXO models, the ones that I actually have in my pantry, they kind of have a rounded top, and so sometimes it just happens that you don't have a consistent product all the way. So number one difference is that they're different in their lid size. The other thing that's slightly problematic when I get into talking to you about the sizes is container store sells 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different sizes. And Costco in their box, this is a 9-piece pop set, but they only have 4 different sizes that they sell you. Out of the 9-piece, there are only 4 different sizes. I have them laid out over here, but they're essentially the tall size and the short size. So I'll explain sizes, and then I'll come back to why Costco is different than container store and why buying the set you're going to be limited. So there are 4 different sizes of lids. That's how I describe OXO container, all OXOs. So there is a large square, there's a rectangle, there is a small square, and then this one isn't as common. It's harder to find, but I really, really like them. They're super cool. This is called a slim, and I don't even have the taller version of the slim, but it only comes in 2 heights. But it's so skinny that it's really nice when you have a limited space that you can get more in and see them, you know, from that view. So I really like this slim size. So these are the 4 size lids. In each size lid, in general, you're going to have a tall, a medium, a short, and then in some of the sizes they have a mini, which is pretty short. So there's a mini in the rectangle and there's a mini in the small square. And they do make a mini in the slim too. I just don't have one of those on me. So these are really nice for like baking soda, baking powder, cocoa powder. I find that the rectangle mini I like better for those sizes, but I do them lots of times in the small square mini too. This is pretty tight for cocoa powder, baking powder, and baking soda, but it still does work. And so sometimes those look really nice stacked. This is a quick tip that I'm going to give you. I got a lot of questions from you today about asking how airtight they really are and finding that sometimes the seals don't work. I've gotten that feedback a lot. And I know that can happen, especially when they get dirty, but like I'm pulling, I mean, if I like use all my muscle, I can get it to come apart. And I would never see, and that's kind of coming apart. They're pretty good though. I feel like they're pretty snug and pretty airtight. What I was going to say though is when doing fine powders like cornstarch, baking soda, baking powder, cocoa powder, sometimes it gets messy, and even powdered sugar, and it comes up around this edge, and then it will get in the rubber seal. So I just make sure that before I ever put the seal on a clean lid or put the lid on a new container, I make sure and wipe the inside of the container and make sure that that's clean. And maybe over time it will get dirty and powder will get in it, but it doesn't seal quite as well when there's any sort of residue from your stuff right there. So that's a little tip to make it more airtight. I did get questions while we're on the subject of airtightness about how long can food stay fresh and how to track expiration dates. So those are questions I get a lot. As far as, I don't know how long food can stay fresh in here versus in their original packaging. I know they stay fresh longer. I don't know why my screen is blacking out because I'm still there. I'm still here. Then, I mean, say cereal, you know, that the kids don't roll it and clip it well enough, or crackers, that the Wheat Thins crackers that are in a box that stay open, they'll get stale. But I would probably go off of the original expiration dates that come on the packaging, and then just know that your food is going to stay fresher this way. My screen is going dark. Has anyone ever had this? Tell me what to do. Anyway, so oh, sorry, I was listening there. I'm getting a few messages in. So, what was I saying? Oh, freshness. Sorry, I've never done a live before. So freshness, things do stay fresh probably about the same. And if you want to track expiration dates, which I recommend if you're not rotating through your things as quickly as they go bad, then I like to use dry erase tape. You can buy it just from Amazon. And then I use a wet erase marker. Dry erase markers tend to get rubbed off sometimes. And you can put it on the bottom. You can put it on the bottom of your lid. You can put it on the back and just write your expiration date here, and then you switch it out regularly. You can also use chalk markers. Oftentimes they're easy to wipe off, and then you can just write it directly on the container, just in a white chalk marker. So you can track those expiration dates, but I don't guarantee that they're going to stay fresh longer than the expiration date. I do think that they will stay more fresh longer. Okay, so we're going to go to explaining the sizes. So once you have all of your sizes, your large square, your rectangle, your small square, and your slim, you have the different heights. And what I really like is when I have shelves, yes, there was a question about, do I measure ahead of time? Yes, I measure, especially for the height, because when possible, I like to use that vertical space. So I'm using the tall ones as much as I possibly can in pantries to get that height. And then ideally, when I can, I like to stagger and stack so that if the shelf is deep enough, usually it's not deep enough for 3 OXOs, but it will be deep enough for 2, so then I can have a tall one in the back and then a medium one right in front, and I can label it right here, and then you can see what there is. So even though you're too deep, you can still totally see your items. And that's the difference with the Costco ones. So Costco, they only have 2 heights. They only sell you a few sizes in the pack of the tall, and then a few sizes of the short size. So that's fine, it doesn't look bad, but you're a little limited because you don't get any of this size, which I really like. You actually don't, and you don't get any of the large square tall or large square medium. And I really like both of these. These are great for flour. It depends on how much you want. It can get quite heavy, but I can fit an entire 10-pound bag of flour in this large square tall. And you can fit at least a 5-pound sugar or flour in this. So generally sizes, I got a lot of questions about sizes. I'm sorry to keep leaning forward. I don't know why my screen keeps going dark, and I hope it's not doing it for you too. We'll have to watch this afterwards. Just a lot of black and white. But I really like these large squares for my flours and powdered sugar and even sugar. But I like these rectangles for my brown sugar and powdered sugar as well. These are big enough, even the rectangles, to put a measuring spoon in and to scoop it out. So anything that's big enough to scoop out. I really like the small square sizes for grains, for pastas especially. It depends on how fast you go through rice, but I'll use rice for any of these. Yeah, I got a lot of questions about sizes, and it's taken a lot of playing. If I'm doing a lot of tall OXOs, this is a cool thing to learn for those who don't know. So a medium and a mini equal a tall, and 2 shorts also equal a tall. So it's really nice that they're modular. So I'm going to show you. I'll back up here. You can stack up, and when I'm organizing, whenever possible, I like to create nice clean lines. So whether they're staggered or whether they're all different sizes, I like the line of sight to be even. So you can mix and match to create a nice even line, a lot easier with Container Store. Another question I got asked is, I only can find the big sets at Costco. Does Container Store sell individual sizes? And yes, they do. They sell a lot of sets. So I recommend starting off with a set, but it's really nice because then at Container Store you can supplement and just buy the pieces that you want. When we do a project, the reason why I still am able to use Costco OXOs is because I buy tons of boxes. So we mix and match and we're not limited to just those 9 products. Otherwise it would be kind of funny because we'll use a ton of these, you know, a row of these tall squares for like lasagna and linguine and pasta on the back, and we're able to make it work. But when you just buy the set, it's kind of limiting. But it is a lot cheaper. And so I totally get why you might want to go with the Costco ones, but if you want to have all the options and make it perfectly perfect, I recommend just going with Container Store ones. One of the questions I got, and I know there are some coming in, it's really hard. What if the original box doesn't fit into the new container? Oh, that is a really good question. I oftentimes in pantries will designate a basket that's either up high or down low for back stock. So say you buy a 10-pound bag of flour or the 20-pound bag of flour and it doesn't fit into whatever size bin you've designated for flour. Whatever excess you have, I roll it up, I clip it, I will put it either in a food storage that's separate, if some people have that, I know not everyone has that, or in a bin that's just designated back stock so that you're not having to dig into that huge bag all the time and you can access your little one. Someone asked about OXO pronunciation. It might be, I've heard people say OXO, I've heard people say different things. I call them OXOs. Why are they so expensive? That is a really good question. I used to think they were so overpriced, and I guess I still do. I've just probably gotten used to it. I do think they're an investment, and it's hopefully if you buy them the right ones and you really have a system ahead of time, and you take care of them, they should last a long time. And I don't know if they really are expensive. They do break sometimes. And someone asked if you can replace like parts to them. I'm not aware of a way you can replace parts. I think you just have to buy a new one. I also got a question about, saying that they're hard to clean and dry. Any tips? I don't recommend cleaning the lid. You can take these apart in pieces, but it's kind of hard to put it back, and sometimes I feel like it doesn't ever seal quite the same once you reassemble it. So I would just like gently clean this with a wet cloth and then wash this with hot soap and water. Someone asked if their dishwasher is safe, and I actually don't know. I've never tried to put it in dishwasher. I probably wouldn't. I would just hand wash it. Let's see. Someone's asking about Kodiak cakes. So Costco size Kodiak cakes I can get to fit in a tall rectangle for those in Utah who love Kodiak cakes. Let's see. My favorite style is the Container Store style. I like that the slim line going across. I prefer it to the Costco ones, but I think the Costco ones still look great. They also make cereal containers, and if the height works for your pantry, I much prefer the taller cereal container to the short one. This is the difference. This can fit almost any size bag, not 2 bags from Costco, but any one size bag, which is really nice because then you're not left over with funny, awkward amounts. Okay, I got questions about cheaper alternatives, and for people who don't like OXOs, these are 2 alternatives I found. There are a lot of brands on Amazon that make these called Chef's Path, the ones that I have. I don't love them. I feel like they look like Tupperware. They have these lids. I shouldn't say I don't love them. They're great. They're like affordable, and you can create, a consistent look and label them. They're just not my first choice, but they are airtight, and they have these clips, and they come in a lot of different sizes. So you can search for these on Amazon. But this is a product that one of my clients showed me because she had OXOs and she said they kept breaking and she didn't feel like the seal was working the way she wanted to. And she already had a bunch of these, so we supplemented. I still haven't shared this project, but it turned out so good. It was beautiful. So this is a Rubbermaid line called Brilliance. And there are only 2 things to clasp, which is kind of nice. I don't know if you heard that. It's kind of amazing sounding. You can hear like the air being released out of it when it opens up. But you pull the lid off so you don't have the pop top, and it's just really clear and clean looking. So I do like that. And these come in even more sizes, I think, than the OXOs do. Like so many sizes. I'm still learning because they're all like in liters and quarts. They don't have like the same system, but they come in lots of heights, almost a similar height. They have a really great capacity. So I really like these. I've only used them in one pantry, like I said, but I stocked up on a bunch of them for if clients request these in the future. So that's an option if you've tried OXOs and don't like them. They do feel more durable, like Rubbermaid brand Tupperware, whereas these, I don't know if you can even, like this is the Rubbermaid, and that's the OXO. So this feels a little more brittle, whereas this is like thick and sturdy. So if you're looking for something that would maybe hold up to being dropped on the floor, I'm not guaranteeing that this would, but I think this feels sturdier than the OXOs. Okay, I know I've been talking really fast. I wanted to get through a lot of information. I know it's silly, but learning these sizes makes such a big difference, especially once you know that they can stack and create nice, neat lines and that they can stagger nicely. I really, when I'm organizing, I much prefer to have, now this just looks like a big jumbled mess, but you know, I don't want things to look like this, where there's like a small square and a rectangle and a short square. So it's really makes me happy when I can create nice lines. So I kind of come up with a setup where things will look nice together and nice from the front. And then if I was gonna do this, that wouldn't work for me. And so I'm going to then grab two of the short squares. And that actually still doesn't line up right. So then I just always play around with it. It's kind of like Tetris. So that in the end, I can have this nice cohesive look. I hope that makes sense. I'm gonna read a few questions. I'm gonna actually grab my phone and we'll just chat for a minute since I feel like my presentation part is over. Okay, my struggle is trying to figure out a system for my entire house. Oh, I wish I could come to Alberta too. Okay, they are not dishwasher safe. Yours worked after doing so. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I didn't think they were dishwasher safe. I've only ever washed them by hand. The Container Store OXOs have an attachment on the bottom of the lid. Yes, you're right. Okay, I didn't share this. Thank you for whoever's sharing. So the Container Store, this is another plus for Container Store. See this little ridged circle? This is how we attach brown sugar keepers. And also, I have it in my ice machine. So cool. I'm going to show you right now because I think it's awesome. We use this for our ice, but you can also put these scoopers, and ours is dirty, in with your flour and sugar. I think it's a half cup. That was not very smooth, but this is super cool. So I'm going to show you. Can I flip it on a live? I don't think I can, you guys. So what you do is there's an attachment on the bottom, and you slide it along here, and look how cool this is. So pretend there's flour in there and pretend my scoop isn't dirty, but isn't that cool? So then it does like take up room, so you would only have your product or your food go up to this height, but then your scoop is ready. So kind of a cool idea. So yes, this circle is handy and a great attachment. So thank you for sharing that. I forgot about that. We use those all the time. Where can you buy the Rubbermaid ones from? I bought mine from Target, but I think you can get them from Amazon as well. I bought them in a lot of sets, but they're just like OXOs in that you can buy them in sets, but you can also buy them individually. And the Brilliance brand, I have these, they also come in glass, not as many sizes, but they're the same lids. So the same lids, they're plastic lids and then glass bottoms. So I use those as like my food storage Tupperware type items. I just never knew that there was like this whole line of, plastic ones that you could use in lieu of OXOs. Okay, I'm just gonna go through these questions. You love OXOs and use them for everything except brown sugar. Always gets hard. Try the brown sugar keeper. And if you don't have a Container Store OXO but a Costco one, you can get just like a terracotta bear or stone from Amazon or really any kitchen place, and I think that really helps. Other tips are putting a piece of bread in with your brown sugar, or I've always used jumbo marshmallows. I put a few big marshmallows in my brown sugar and that works really well. So there are things you can do. I love keeping my brown sugar in the OXOs and I feel like it keeps it pretty fresh and doesn't get hard, but I always do add something. do you store brown sugar in the fridge? I do not store my brown sugar in the fridge, so I just keep in the OXOs. I'm glad you're here live too. More brown sugar questions. Oh, thank you for telling me I didn't need to tap my screen, that I wasn't going dark for you. I don't know what was going on with my phone, so I'm sure that was obnoxious. Okay, you guys are awesome. Thank you for all your responses. I think I got, you guys are so nice. Is Container Store available in Canada? I do not know, but I think you can order OXOs from Amazon. It's just easier for me to do it from Container Store. You can also order OXOs from Bed Bath & Beyond, Target. A lot of places sell them. So it's not just Costco and Container Store. I don't even know what kind of OXOs you get from Target, if it's the Container Store line or Costco, because those are my go-tos. But you can definitely get them. OXO also sells slant jars. They're like cookie jars, and they're really cute and fun, and they come in 2 different sizes. So that's something that I like to use. I just didn't have any on hand. I think I have some in my car, but I didn't pull them out. Okay, I think I got to all the questions. So fun to have you guys here. Thanks for joining in. I just want to be able to answer these questions and have it somewhere to come back to, because it's silly, but even organizers who have been working with me for months, all the sizes get confusing. And here, I'm gonna flip my screen because there are a lot of them. Look, I think I can do it. There we go. Okay, so look, these are all the containers, and it gets really confusing and overwhelming. And I think when people go to the Container Store, it's like, these end up being, at least $20 a pop. I don't know, some of them are 18, but it's expensive and it adds up so quickly. And if you're going to create a pantry with a lot of containers, you want to make sure that your investment is worth it. But when they all come together, they really do look beautiful, and I think they work great. But there are other options out there as well. So I hope that was helpful for anyone looking to make that investment. And someone just said they ordered from Container Store and they live in Canada. So that's good news for the other Canada person watching. Okay, I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. Keep asking questions. I'll get on here and do another one of these. I want to do these more regularly because I find that I get the same questions all the time. So I would love to be able to answer your questions and have this as a guide for people to come back to, a resource, I guess I should say, so that you can get like the full complete answer. And so keep asking questions, and I'm here, and I hope that was helpful. Okay, see you guys. Have a great Sunday.